I went to San Francisco. Going from Fiji to San Francisco is a fucking shithole. It is a shithole. So I arrive Saturday afternoon. When I land at the airport, I leave the airport, I get in a taxi, and I'm like, hey, my hotel's downtown. Let's go. Let's go to the hotel. It's right downtown. So we're driving. The cab driver, and I'm in the back, and I'm just, I have my headphones in. I'm not talking to the cab driver. I don't want to talk to people. I don't want to talk to you. So we're driving, and we kind of we get off the highway, and we're downtown. We're in that proper downtown San Francisco. And I'm seeing a lot of homeless people. And then a lot of this. There was a lot of, let me make sure, let me pull up so I can make sure I'm on camera. There was a lot of this on the street. Let me show you. Here, let me turn the camera up. I'm going to do an impression. This is the typical San Franciscan. Ready? That, everybody, just like a freaking dope fiend. Just like drug addicts. Oh my God. And so I'm seeing this block after block after block. I'm seeing people with shopping carts filled with stuff. People sitting in circles, obviously snorting, shooting, smoking something. And just people just shouting and yelling. And oh my God. Block after block after block. And I'm thinking all right. Maybe we just have to pass through a bad part of San Francisco to get to a good part of San Francisco. No. It kept going and going. And then finally we get to my hotel. It's a nice hotel. A very nice hotel. Very nice room, very nice view. In the middle of the goddamn ghetto. Literally, I'm going to show you. I'm curious. How India has what happened? You know how India has trash on every on every Google Street View picture? I'm going to guess that San Francisco has a drug user on everyone, something like that. Let's see. Timbri. I stayed at the Timbri Hotel, San Francisco. Yep, right here. Here we go. $269 a night. And what do you get? Let's just see. Okay, there's the hotel. Looks beautiful. Look at that. Look at that nice new modern building. Ghetto. Now, look, I am not saying that anything in this picture particularly jumps out as ghetto, but I'm telling you, there were you walk down here, and there's just people on you smell pot everywhere. And then so I arrived, and I get there, and the fucking hotel, they don't have my room. My room's not ready. And they're like, well, it's not going to be ready for 45 minutes. And I'm like, all right, well, okay. At that point, I hadn't had a Diet Mountain Dew for 2 weeks. And so I'm like, all right, I'll kill some time. I wanted to go to a 7-Eleven to just find a Diet Mountain Dew. I start walking around, and it is just literally, it's just people sitting in circles doing drugs every block. It's just people screaming, just shouting anything. And then first of all, most businesses were closed, and what businesses were still open had guards outside of them. There were personal security guards everywhere. And the only thing that was open, there were three types of stores that were open. There was your mom and pop corner store, which was brave enough to still take customers. There were liquor stores, and there were CBD stores, or tobacco stores. That's it. You could either buy the basics of like basically a shit 7-Eleven or a liquor store or a weed store. Nothing else. And I went into a couple of the like mom and pop stops that none of them had Diet Mountain Dew. And I look up on my phone. Okay, 7-Eleven. Okay, there's one like half mile away. All right. I was exhausted, but I really wanted a Diet Mountain Dew. I'm like, all right, I'll take a walk. I take a walk. 7-Eleven closed. Everything boarded up, closed. What the hell? So I go to another one, closed. What the hell? So finally I go back to my hotel but there was a CVS. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to go to the CVS because CVS always has Diet Mountain Dew as well. I had heard about CVS's and like general stores, the ones that still remained open. I had heard about them locking everything up. Everything locked up. The CVS was like a dystopian version of CVS. Everything was locked up. And in order to get my Diet Mountain Dew, I had to push a button and have a very surly woman come over like, how dare I interrupt her scrolling through TikTok so that I could buy some merchandise. And she comes over and opens the door. And I'm like, thank you. And just walk away, whatever. And then grab my Diet Mountain Dew. It was just, and so then like a couple days after that, I go to Target because like, I don't want to go back to CVS. Let me find the Tembry again. So the Tembry is right here. So if I come out of the Tembry and I walk up here towards Eddy Street, the CVS was like right up. Was it this one or was it the next block? It was somewhere around here. But I'm curious as to what this street looks like because this was just, oh, wow. It looks nice there. Wow. It actually looks almost like a decent little city there. Whoa. Ooh, color me surprised. I wonder what, I'll look in a second as to what year those pictures were taken. Okay, there's Union Square. Let me see. Oh yeah, the old like this. What year was this? This is just July. Okay. Oh, that's why it looks nice. Oh, that's not police. I don't know. But it was just it. So I go to Target, I found a Target because I was there for a convention. So I go to Target. There was a Target right across the street from one of the convention was kind of like centered in the center of like a couple of hotels, and right across from one of the hotels there was a Target, and I go in there. Target, not everything's locked down, but a lot of stuff, if not most things, were locked down at the Target. Now, I ran out of underwear. I'll just put it out there. I ran out of underwear. I mistimed doing laundry when I left Tahiti, and I didn't have as much clean underwear as I thought I did, and I couldn't do laundry in the hotel, so I go to Target to buy underwear. Gotta press a button. Have somebody come help you for that. And then I go to the checkout line. The checkout line, no self-service. Forget that. There was no self-service line, which is fine. I don't like self-service lines really. I'll use them sometimes, but I prefer annoying a person. I prefer talking. I don't know why. Because I'm old, okay? Okay, there. You made me say it, Muhammad. I'm old. That's why I prefer a checkout person as opposed to automatic checkout. But so there was no self-checkout line at Target. There's no candy. The shelves where the candy would have been were just empty shelves. They had obviously they had said, nope, no self-service candy at this Target. And I'm in Target for no more than 5 minutes. 2 different people. One guy, motherfucker, what the fuck going on? I can't fucking take, what is that fuck? And then another person, the second person's not even saying anything. He's just screaming. And then then I did a video. I wonder if I could find it real quick. I did a video because one thing I did like about the San Francisco trip is that they had those electric scooters. So in Iceland, they had the company's called Lime. And I used the heck out of them in Iceland. I loved going around on a scooter in Reykjavik. And but they had these in San Francisco, and I loved them. I loved the scooters in San Francisco. And so I guess it was like Wednesday. It was Wednesday or Thursday. I was like, all right, I'm going to take like an hour. I'm going to take an hour to myself. I'm going to like do non-convention, non-work stuff. And I'm going to take my GoPro. I'm going to mount it to the scooter, and I'm going to do a video of just me just driving around the city for an hour. That's all it is. No commentary, no nothing. In that span of an hour of going around San Francisco, I saw two separate fights. One fight was between two guys, one who was looked like he was just wearing boxers and a shirt, but it looked like his pants, like he did. I couldn't tell if they were shorts or just boxers. They looked like boxers. And he's fighting with another guy because the other guy took his sodas and he's begging for his sodas back. And then he's like trying to take them. And the other guys, they're like, there was a fight. And like this fight's happening right in front of me. And I'm like, nope. And I'm on the scooter. Like I was waiting for a light to change, right? And I'm like, nope. And I just turn and I just drive away. The second one, I'm driving and suddenly, like from around the corner, this old guy just comes running past me. And then no more than a half second later, there's two other guys running after him. I'm just like, what the fuck is going on in this city? Holy hell. Like, now, I will say, I have to be fair. I mean, I don't have to, but I want to be. Let me take a sip of water. It was not all terrible. Like, there were, like, some parts up by the wharf that seemed very nice. Like, up here in the Marina District seemed really nice. And then there was a whole downtown area that was, like, over here that seemed very nice. But even in the very nice, again, even in the very nice parts of San Francisco, just like India with the litter, San Francisco had the homeless / drug addict / vagabond / whatever. Like, it was just like, it was insane. I couldn't, I'm just like, and you got to understand, the conference I was at, it is a big conference. Like, if you are in my industry professionally, you know this conference. And you have probably been to this conference a few times, at least once or so. Not necessarily, but you know the conference for sure. The conference, of course, I'm talking about, of course, is RSAC. And so you know this conference. You know, but I'm thinking, like, people come from, literally, I'm not being hyperbolic. People literally come from all over the world to go to this conference. And I just could not help but think of those people who are coming from other countries to come to this conference. I am sure there is a non-0% of people who this is their first time in the United States. And this is the exposure that those people have. That is the first exposure, their first impression of the United States. It is a fucking shame. It is pathetic. Oh my God, it was horrible. Fucking horrible. And it reminded me, and I see Razman said it sounded like downtown Toronto. I believe you, because it reminded me of St. John's in Newfoundland. When I went to St. John's, I went to St. John's in 2018. I loved it. Yeah, sure. You had like some homeless people in 2018 in St. John's. You had some element of people asking you for change, but it was, nothing out of the ordinary. When I went to St. John's when was that? That was 2023, the end of 2023, beginning of 2024. It was right before Christmas of 2023. When I went to St. John's, it was a fucking shithole. It was terrible. And it literally every 5 minutes, no, not even every 5 minutes, every 30 seconds, can I have some change? Can I have some change? Excuse me, sir, can I have some change? Hey, man, do you have any change? Like, every 30 seconds in St. John. Now, I will say, to the San Franciscans that are on the street shooting up heroin, I will give them credit where credit is due. I didn't get asked for change once in San Francisco. So maybe they have plenty of money. I don't know. I don't know why they didn't ask me for change. Then again, I do have a tendency to dress like I myself am homeless. So maybe they figured I was one of them and I didn't have any change to give. I don't know. But oh my God, San Francisco was a fucking awful experience. Well, it's a fucking disgrace is what it is. It is a disgrace. And I don't know what was worse in San Francisco. Was it the people on the street shooting up drugs, fighting with each other, yelling at each other, harassing people? I had a coworker have a knife pulled on him. Like, this old woman came up to him and put a knife in his face and said something to the extent of, "I could kill you now and nothing would happen to me," and then walked away. So I don't know what's worse. Those people? I mean, whatever. Those people that I'm talking about, or the people who just walk by it like it is a normal, everyday occurrence. Like, oh, that's just San Francisco. Oh, that's just what happens. You had all these people that just walk by it like it's not even happening. Like, they don't even acknowledge it. They're just too busy in their headphone world, just trying to walk past it and pretend that they don't see it. So I don't know what's worse, the people that are doing it or the people that are ignoring it. I'm not sure. It was an awful experience. I mean, the conference was cool. I liked the conference, but it was set in this dystopian, drug-filled backdrop that I just couldn't wait to leave. I could not wait to get out of San Francisco. What a horrible fucking place.